President Trump is about to change how our money operates in 2026 because of three things. Number one are Trump accounts. Number two is a $2,000 tariff rebate dividend or stimulus. And number three is the National Wealth Fund. And the people that understand this are going to be able to capitalize on this shift and grow their wealth, while the people that don't understand this are going to not only fall behind, but also start feeling the pain, because it's going to start changing the way that our money operates, which is why in this video, I want to break down what's happening, but also how you can end up on the winning side of these changes that are happening in our economy. And I want to start with the Trump account, because in President Trump's new tax bill, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, one of the provisions was creating this Trump account. A Trump account is essentially a stock brokerage account for minors, people under the age of 18. But there's a couple nuances that make it unique. Number one, if you are a United States citizen born between January 1, 2025 and December 31, 2028, you are eligible for a one-time $1,000 contribution from the United States government into your stock account. On top of that, you as a parent can contribute up to $5,000 a year into the stock account, and then this Trump account can be invested into things like the broad stock market. The idea being, if the economy grows, the stock market goes, you as a kid are going to grow your wealth and ownership in the United States economy. How much? Well, according to the White House, they say that if a Trump account is fully funded, meaning $5,000 a year, a kid can end up with $1.9 million by the time they turn 28. Why does this matter? Because some people are going to see a lot of wealth in their 20s because of these investment accounts, while some people are not going to create them, and it's going to impact them. How do I know? Because a Trump account is not automatically created for you. If you're a kid, it is not automatically created. Even if you're born within the time period, you have to go out of your way to fill out a form with the IRS. Write this down. It is IRS form 4547. This is the form that you're going to have to fill out in 2026 in order to qualify for the Trump account and to qualify your kids for the $1,000 bonus contribution. So if you have a kid, or if you are a kid and you want to see how you can open up the account and get that contribution, make sure you complete that form. It's not fully available yet, but in 2026 it is expected to be available. So keep an eye on that, which brings me to point number two, a $2,000 dividend or stimulus check by the United States government given to American people. And you bet this is another reason why it is so important for you to be an investor. Again, if you are an investor or want to be an investor, I have a free investing masterclass where I walk you through how you can get started as an investor and find hidden investment opportunities before they hit the headlines. I'll even give you the exact framework that my analysts at Market Breeze Pro use to find investment opportunities before they hit the mainstream. It's a completely free masterclass. There's a ton of value in there. And when you register, you're also going to get access to Market Briefs, which is my newsletter for investors, completely free. All you have to do is register, and I have the link for you down in the description below. Now, moving on to dividends. The Trump administration has been putting tariffs on foreign countries when goods are imported into the United States. So if you're buying shoes from China, well, now you have to pay a tariff as the importer here in the United States to bring those shoes into the United States. And this is now expected to bring in about $200 billion in revenue to the United States government in 2025. This is according to what the White House says. Why does that matter? That $200 billion that we collected in tariff revenue in 2025 is a lot more than the $30 or $40 billion we were collecting before we had these tariffs. That's $100 and some billion more in tariff revenue. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's not a whole lot of money because the United States government collects about $5 trillion a year in taxes, and then we spend around $7 trillion a year with all of the other things that we have to pay for. Not to mention the fact that we have about $38 trillion worth of national debt. So $200 billion is a lot of money, but when you compare it to how much we owe, it's not a huge amount of money. But here's where it gets interesting, because what President Trump is saying is that now that we have this excess money from tariffs, instead of paying down our debts, one of the things that we can do is give it away. Give it away to people like you, American citizens, as a way to stimulate the economy. Because if you get an extra couple $1,000s, well, now you can go out and spend or pay down your debt or invest or do whatever it is that you want to do with the money. And we've already seen some of these checks start to roll out. It was the Warrior checks that went out very recently. These Warrior checks were about 1.5 million United States military members who are going to be receiving a $1,776 check from the United States government. Now, this money for the military members is not coming directly from tariffs. It's actually coming from the military housing fund that was redirected to be put into here. But the idea is the United States government and President Trump is saying we have this extra couple $100 billion. Let's give it away to American citizens as a way to stimulate the economy. And hopefully, if the economy is growing, businesses have more profits, more people have jobs, that's going to increase the tax revenue, because if a business has bigger profits, they have to pay more in taxes. The only problem with that is if we're going to pay out all this money in dividends, how much is it going to cost? And the only way we can really understand this is to kind of predict based off of history. When the COVID pandemic was happening, the Trump administration sent out a $1,200 stimulus check plus $600 per kids. When they did that first round, not all of them, just that first round of stimulus checks had a cost of about $293 billion. And that was $1,200 per adult, $600 per kid. Now the discussion is doing a $2,000 dividend when we have about $200 billion of tariff revenue. A bigger stimulus check when we have less money available. That's where things get a little confusing and we don't have clarity as to how many people would actually get the stimulus check. Is it going to be less people, a more restricted number? Is it going to be less money? And if it's extra money that we have to pay outside of the tariff revenue, where is that money going to come from? That's the information that we don't have. And the other kind of added confusing part is there's a chance that these tariffs are going to be overturned by the Supreme Court. How likely is that? I don't know. But right now it is in discussions with the Supreme Court to see if these tariffs are legal or illegal. And if they are deemed to be illegal, the Supreme Court could also then make the United States government pay back these tariffs, in which case the United States government would lose about $200 billion of revenue, and these tariff dividend checks would probably not go out. So a lot of uncertainty here, but we know that the Trump administration is heavily pushing to get some sort of stimulus check out into the hands of people, because we know that, number one, tariffs are expensive. Number two, inflation is still around. Number three, the job market is slowing. And number four, just generally, the economy might be booming, but a lot of people don't feel that. At least the average person is not feeling that in their bank account. So this is something that is going to be a very hot topic in 2026, and you bet that we'll be covering it here. But this also brings me to number three, the third thing you need to pay attention to, which is the National Wealth Fund. Now, the United States government is a little bit different than other countries, where other countries will take extra tax revenue and they will invest it into private companies as a way to build assets, investments for the government. And it has been proven by certain countries to make a lot of money. Well, the United States government now wants to get involved with something like a national wealth fund, a sovereign wealth fund. The only problem is we don't have any actual money to invest because we are so deep in debt. Remember, we have $38 trillion of national debt. And in 2025, we're going to spend around $7 trillion while we only generate around $5 trillion in taxes. So the United States doesn't have the money to create this investment account, but President Trump is working to create a national wealth fund. That way the government can continue to grow its assets. And if you can grow your assets, well, then the amount of debt that you have start to go, not away, but they feel less extreme, because if your wealth is higher and your debt stays the same, well, now your debts don't seem as big of a problem. But here's where things get interesting, because right now we do not have a sovereign wealth fund established. We've had an executive order for the Trump administration to look into how we can get one created, but despite the fact that we do not have a national wealth fund created, the United States government is already investing in companies without that wealth fund in place. What do I mean? In 2025, we saw a big shift happen where the United States government said we need to compete against foreign countries, especially countries like China. And in order for us to be able to compete against China, we need to make sure that our American companies have the ability, meaning money, to produce products and compete against China. So this is where the United States government has put billions of dollars into stocks here in the United States. For example, the United States government invested millions of dollars, in fact, billions of dollars, into the Intel stock. Why? To help Intel produce more products here in the United States to be able to compete against China and other foreign countries. We've also changed our policy on Bitcoin because previously what has happened with Bitcoin is the United States government would seize Bitcoin when there was criminal activity, and then we would sell that Bitcoin off. And then the Trump administration said, essentially, if we would have held on to that Bitcoin, we, the United States government, would have so many more assets. So from now on, when we seize Bitcoin, we're going to hold on to the Bitcoin and see the value of the Bitcoin rise. That way, the United States government can show other investors and the Federal Reserve Bank, hey, we have all this national debt, but no big deal because we have all this Bitcoin, we have all this gold, we have all this other assets, because when you have more collateral, these assets, the national debt doesn't seem as severe. So we've changed the policy on our Bitcoin reserve, and it's estimated, that the United States government has around 200,000 Bitcoins right now in holding. Is that what we actually have? I don't know. That's just what is being said right now. We've also seen a golden share by the Trump administration in United States Steel. Now, that doesn't mean that the United States government actually owns a piece of United States Steel. What it says is that the United States government has controlling voting rights in that company because they want to be able to control what the company does. So we're seeing a shift happen in the government right now, which is a very major shift to how our economy has operated in the past, because traditionally in a free market, what that means is that private companies are private and that the government is not there to tell which private companies win. But you can imagine this is going to change how money and investing works, because if the government is getting involved with investing in private companies, things start to change. Because number one, if you are a competitor to Intel, who just received this huge check because the United States government bought about 10% of Intel, so we're talking about billions of dollars. So if you're a competitor to Intel, good luck trying to compete, because the United States government has deep pockets. In fact, they don't even have an end to their pocket because the Federal Reserve Bank can print whatever amount of money the United States government wants. Secondly, it starts to change the game for business, because now if you are an entrepreneur and you want to go out and raise money, traditionally you'd have to go out and raise money from venture capitalists or angel capital or banks and other private people. But now if you can raise money from the government, you kind of shift from being an entrepreneur to a little bit of a politician, because you want the government and the president to like you. Because if they don't like you, they might not invest money in you. And they can also change how competition works. Because at the end of the day, for a consumer, for users, competition is good. Because that means companies have to compete against each other to create a good product at the best price. Well, if the government can invest into a particular company or companies, those companies have a upper hand over companies that don't have money from the government, which can make it harder to compete. Now, the reason why the government is doing this is to be able to compete not inside of the United States, but against China, because this is something that's been going on in China for a long time. And the United States government feels that certain companies in China have an unfair advantage, because companies can grow and not have to worry about profits or making money, because the Chinese government will just throw money at them so they can be more innovative. And, well, we're scared that if the Chinese economy keeps growing faster than the United States is, because that's what's happening right now, the Chinese economy is smaller than the United States, but is growing faster than the United States. And so there's a lot of economists predicting that in the coming years or decade, the Chinese economy will be bigger than the United States. And that would be a big dent to the United States as a world superpower, but also the United States dollar, because part of the reason why the United States economy has been able to grow at the speed that it has is because we've been able to spend so much money we don't have. The government's been able to pump up the economy with printed dollars. And the reason why they're able to do that is because we have the world's reserve currency, which means the entire world trusts the United States dollar as a store of value. And because there's so many people trusting the United States dollar, we can print more of these dollars because we don't have to worry about inflation the same way that other countries might if they have a weaker currency, because the whole world is trusting the dollar. I mean, we don't actually have money that's backed by gold or a precious metal. It's money, fiat currency, backed by a promise. And if people start to lose trust in that promise, well, that's when inflation can become a bigger problem. That's why we're starting to see big changes. So in 2026, we're going to see a lot of things happen. Number one, we're going to see these Trump accounts actually go live. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you fill out the right IRS form. Number two, we may see these dividend checks go out by the government to stimulate the economy. But what we know and what we've seen throughout history is anytime stimulus checks go out, they don't stimulate people, they stimulate investors. Because when you go out and spend money at Walmart or Amazon or Chipotle, who is the winner? It's not the workers. It's not you because you spent the money. It's the investors in Amazon, Walmart, and Chipotle. Because those dollars go into the hands of the companies, and the excess dollars or profit go into the hands of the owners, the investors, which is why it is so important for you to be an investor. Again, I have my free investing masterclass for you down in the description. And then beyond that, it's also paying attention to this national wealth fund. We don't have a sovereign wealth fund. It hasn't been formally established yet, but it hasn't stopped the United States government from actually investing in private companies. And we have heard from the Treasury Secretary that they are interested in doing more private investments like these in the future. Into what? Well, those are things that we're going to be paying attention to, but that's what you want to be paying attention to as an investor, because your job is to know where the money is moving. And we can see that our economic system is already designed to benefit the investor more than the consumer. It was designed to benefit the owner more than the employee. That's how it has been designed. Well, that's not slowing down. It is amplifying in 2026, which means if you don't understand this, if you don't get ahead of this, you are going to fall further behind, because the owners are going to own not only more assets, but assets that are going up in value, and the people that are not are going to slowly become poorer. So my goal for you is to, number one, understand this, but then also take action, meaning don't spend all of your money, become an investor, learn about investing, because our economic system is being more and more skewed towards making investors richer. And if you don't understand this, you are going to slowly become poorer and fall behind in this system. And it's not slowing down. So I hope you got value out of this video. The best thank you is a referral. If you could, please share this video with a friend, family member, colleague, or fellow investor so we can continue to spread this type of financial education. And as always, thank you for watching.